Hello students, today we are going to take a new topic, that is your periapical disease and their classification. Uh, in this we are going to discuss the causes of the periapical disease, classification of the periapical disease, uh, and then we will conclude these lectures. Pulpar disease is only one of the several possible causes of the disease of the periarticular tissues. Because of the interrelationship between the pulp and the periarticular tissues, pulpal inflammation causes inflammatory changes in the pedial even before the pulp becomes totally necrotic. This is a diagram depicting the sequelae of the pulpitis. As all of you know that pulpitis can be acute or chronic in nature, and the pulpitis will lead into the periodontitis, and that may be classified further into acute or chronic apical periodontitis. Periodontitis may progress to periapical disease, abscess, or periapical granuloma. Periapical abscess may be of acute or chronic in nature, and periapical granuloma and periapical abscess both can lead to the osteomyelitis, or granuloma can also convert into a cyst. Osteomyelitis is the infection of the bone marrow species. So it is of further two types, that is acute or chronic in nature, which is further classified into focal or diffuse form, and then osteomyelitis may lead to periostitis, and further it may progress into cellulitis or abscess. These are the pathways of the spread of the infection. Infection can spread through the accessory canals or through the apical foramens or through the dentinal tubules. Causes: bacteria and their toxins, immunological agents, tissue debris, products of tissue necrosis from the pulp reach the periodical area through the various foramen of the root canals and give rise to inflammatory and immunological reactions. Neoplastic disorders, periodontal conditions, developmental factors, and trauma can also cause periodicular diseases. Classification of periodical disease: they are classified into symptomatic periodical disease, which are further classified into symptomatic apical periodontitis, which may be connected with a vital tooth or a non-vital tooth. This is also called as acute apical periodontitis. Secondly, it may be of acute alveolar abscess. Third, it may be classified as acute exacerbation of the asymptomatic apical periodontitis, which is also called as a phoenix abscess. So all the acute conditions are classified into symptomatic periodical disease. Then coming to the second, there is your asymptomatic periodical disease. They are further classified into asymptomatic apical periodontitis, known as chronic apical periodontitis, which is further of two types: chronic alveolar abscess or cystic apical periodontitis. Secondly, persistent apical periodontitis. This is again a subtype of asymptomatic periodical disease. Then third category is your condensing osteitis. After that, it is external root absorption, and then disease of the periarticular tissues of non-endodontic origins. So coming to the first category, that is your symptomatic periodical diseases. This is also called as a symptomatic apical periodontitis. Symptomatic apical periodontitis is a painful inflammation of the periodontium as a result of the trauma, irritation, or infection through the root canal, regardless of whether the pulp is vital or non-vital, producing clinical symptoms including painful response to biting and percussion. Causes: it is, if it is associated with the vital tooth, then abnormal occlusal contacts, recently inserted restoration extending beyond the occlusal plane, wedging the foreign object between the teeth, traumatic blow to the teeth, or in case of non-vital tooth, sequelae of pulpal disease or heterogenic. Then root canal instrumentation may be the cause in case of a non-vital tooth, forcing of irritating irrigants or medicament through the apical foramen, extension of obturating material through the apical foramen, perforation of the root, over-stimulation during shaping and cleaning of the root. These are all causes of the symptomatic apical periodontitis. Then coming to the symptoms, pain and tenderness of the tooth is present. Tooth may be slightly sore, or sometimes only when it is percussed in a certain direction, or the soreness may be severe. The tooth may feel extruded and the patient may have pain or closure on and mastication. So pain and tenderness is the classical symptoms of the symptomatic apical periodontitis. Diagnosis: pain or percussion. Overlying mucosa may or may not be tender to percussion. Radiographic changes: non-vital tooth, slightly widening of apical periodontal space, and loss of apical lamina dura of involved pulpal less tooth, whiter tooth, no radiographic changes with the normal perpendicular structures. So this is the diagram showing the widening of the PDL space. Differential diagnosis, acute valvular abscess. Treatment, determining the cause and relieving the symptoms, adjustment of the high points in hyperocclusal cases, removal of irritants in case of non-vital infected pulp. When the acute phase is subsided, the tooth is treated by conservative means. Now coming to the acute valvular abscess. An acute valvular abscess is an inflammatory reaction to the pulpal infection and necrosis characterized by rapid onset and spontaneous pain, tenderness of the tooth pressure, pus formation, and eventual swelling of the associated tissues. So swelling is the characteristic sign in case of acute valvular abscess. Causes bacterial invasion of that pulpal tissues, trauma, chemical or mechanical irritations. Symptoms, tenderness of the tooth, and tooth become more painfully elongated and mobile. At times, the pain may subside or cease entirely while the adjacent tissues continues to swell. Patient may appear pale, irritable, and weakened from pain and loss of sleep, as well as from the absorption of septic products. So classical symptoms of septicemia can be seen in this case. Patients in mild cases may only have a slight rise in temperature, whereas those in severe cases may reach several degrees above normal. Intestinal stasis may occur, manifesting itself orally by the coated tongue and a foul breath. Patient may complain of headache and malaise. Diagnosis, clinical examination, presence of diffuse and annoying pain, extrusion of the tooth, radiographically of cavity or defective restoration or slightly widening of the apical PDL space. Diagnosis is confirmed by means of EPT and thermal testing. The affected pulp is necrotic, does not respond to electric EPT or application of to the cold. The tooth may be tender or percussion, or the patient may state that it hurts to chew. These are some cases or pictures showing the acute valvular abscess. Radiographic features of symptomatic apical abscess. Localized abscess resulting from incomplete root canal treatment. Differential diagnosis, periodontal abscess, you have to differentiate it from the periodontal abscess. Treatment, establishing the drainage and controlling the systemic reactions. Then coming to the acute exacerbation of the asymptomatic apical periodontitis, that is also called the phoenix abscess or exacerbating apical periodontitis. This condition is acute inflammatory reaction superimposed on an existing asymptomatic apical periodontitis. Causes, when chronic periodical disease such as asymptomatic apical periodontitis are in a state of equilibrium, the periodical tissues are asymptomatic, and sometimes this equilibrium is disturbed and because of the noxious stimulus from a diseased pulp and leading to the acute inflammatory response, which is result in the you can say that swelling and the pus drainage and the pain. So the symptoms, tooth may be tender or palpation, inflammation progresses, tooth gets elevated from socket, become. So the signs symptoms typically depicts of your acute alveolar abscess. So diagnosis, the radiograph shows a well-defined periodical lesions. In case of acute alveolar abscess, there may be just a widening of the PDL space, but in this case of acute expression of the phoenix abscess, there is a well resolved area, periodical residency present. So this is the diagram showing a phoenix abscess case. Differential diagnosis from the acute alveolar, I have already explained to you. Then treatment is same, establishing drainage and controlling systemic reactions, same as for the acute alveolar abscess. Then coming to the asymptomatical periodicular disease. Asymptomatic apical periodontitis, also known as the chronic apical periodontitis. Asymptomatic apical periodontitis is the symptomless sequelae of the symptomatic apical periodontitis and is discharged characterized by radiography by periodicular reduced changes and histologically with a lesion dominated with macrophages, lymphocytes, and plasma cells. So histological examination, you can see the chronic inflammatory cells present here. Causes, it may be as a chronic low-grade defensive reaction of the alveolar bone to the irritation from the root canal. So develops from only some time after the pulp has died. Asymptomatic apical periodontitis is a cell-mediated response to pulpal bacterial reactions. Products. Symptoms may not produce any subjective reactions except in rare cases when it breaks down and undergoes suppuration. So this is a diagram showing the periapical area in which periapical foramen is full of mixed microflora, and in the periapical periodicular tissues there is a presence of antibodies and many molecular mediators. and cells present. So diagnosis discovered by routine radiography examination. The area of radial affection is well defined with lack of continuity of the lamina dura. An exact diagnosis may be made only by microscopic examination because of the root may or may not be tended to the palpation. Who does not respond to thermal or EPT. Patient may give a history of palpasia that has subsided. So this is a radiographs IUPS showing the asymptomatic apical peritonitis. Differential diagnosis cannot be differentiated from other periodical disease unless the tissue is examined histologically. But the treatment is same, that is your root canal therapy. Removal of the cause of the inflammation, followed by resorption of the granular tissue and repair with the tabulated bone. So that's all for today, and the second part we will be taking later on. Thank you.